Ashmodai.
Also known as Asmodeus, the Prince of the Avengers of Evil, as well as Asmodai the Destroyer, and is one of the 7 princes of hell. Depending on what point of view Asmodai is being looked at from, he can be considered to be a demon, jinn, Nephilim, or angel. This is because in some accounts, he's the son of one of the Watchers, Semyaza, who's chronicled in the Forbidden Book of Enoch. These Watchers were at one time part of the Ben Elohim, the angelic host of heaven. They were originally sent to watch over and guide humanity, but defied their duties, instead taking on human form and descending to Earth, teaching humanity forbidden knowledge as well as breeding with human females. Asmodai is a demon king, ruling over the Shadim, a type of demon, and the Jinn, as well as having 72 legions of demons under his command, though the Jinn do answer first and foremost to Iblis. Asmodai is a greater demon of pure fury, destruction, lust, and jealousy. He piles the skulls of his victims in mountains and bathes in a tide of gore whenever possible. And those wishing vengeance upon their enemies can cry out to Asmodai for assistance, because he loves himself some good vengeance. The demon also inspires lechery and whispers to the weak-minded insidious suggestions that lead to ill deeds. Though despite his unstoppable anger, Asmodai is also extremely clever. The Destroyer manipulates the minds of mortals into committing adultery or instigating conflict within romantic couples. Asmodai also has a fascination with the sexual relationships of mortals and is driven by an obsession for transgressive sex. The Destroyer loves especially to be summoned to have sex with menstruating women, but will seek it out on his own either way. Let's just say that there's very little that gets in the way of this Prince of Hell. And since Asmodai is a demon of lust, the demon of lust, it's safe to assume that his lust is very powerful, so he has many wives as well as a whole harem of human women to keep him busy. Oddly enough, though, the Destroyer is known in the lore to look out for his children and make sure that they're very well taken care of, which seems quite unique among the infernal lords and not something that you'd expect from a demon king. He'll even come to the defense of his daughters if a man abuses them, and woe be it to the mortal man who harms a child of the Lord of Rage. That's gonna be a really bad day. Asmodai also has many different forms he can take when he manifests in the material plane. He can just appear as a black dog, a man with rooster or goat legs, as well as just a normal-looking but handsome man. Though his most notorious form is that of a hellish entity with 3 heads shooting fire, the legs of a chicken, and the tail of a serpent. One of these 3 heads is that of a demonic man, one of them is a ram, or sheep I guess, and the other a bull. And the Lord of Fury rides upon a steed that is a lion with dragon aspects. Asmodai is boisterous and sensual in his personality. If properly respected with all honorifics that he sees himself worthy of as a demon king, one may actually survive an encounter with him, though any informality will result in death. Because this Prince of Hell tolerates humans at best and feeds on their pain at worst. Though for the most part, the Destroyer has a civilized nature about him, unless aggravated. Despite his rulership of wrath and rage, Asmodai is generally good-natured and likes to drink. According to legend, Asmodai is in charge of the casinos and gambling parlors of the afterlife, so he can be called upon to bestow gamblers good luck. The origins of Asmodai are cryptic, yet there are various versions to choose from, with many versions of his lore found in a variety of forbidden texts. All versions but one concerning King David, his mother is known as Nama, a demon that is depicted in various ancient texts, though the version with King David also has associations with a succubus, which is a demon, so it could still be her. Anyway, his father could very well be Adam from the Bible. In the Kabbalistic book of the Zohar, after Cain kills Abel, Adam leaves his wife Eve for 130 years. Yeah, people lived a lot longer back then according to biblical lore. But during this time, Nama and his first wife, Lilith, seduce him. Both women became pregnant with demonic children. Nama is the mother of Asmodai and one of the 4 wives of Samael, the angel of death. In the Talmud, we also find lore on Asmodai. In the texts, Nama is indistinguishable from the Nama mentioned in the book of Genesis from the Bible. She just so happens to attract Ephrira and Questamon, 2 demon kings. The lust the demon kings have for her is unstoppable, yet somehow she eludes them by shapeshifting. Though she is far from good aligned and corrupts the angels Uiza and Azazel, who were among the ranks of the Watchers that eventually descended to Earth, bringing about the Nephilim and instigating a worldwide cataclysm known as the Biblical Flood. But once again, her lust leads towards the birth of Asmodai. As I've already said, there's also the lore of Asmodai being the son of the Watcher Semyaza from the Book of Enoch. But there's still more lore on Asmodai, such as him being the son of King David, the legendary Israelite monarch that slew the giant Goliath. And though he was renowned, David did eventually fall from God's grace, because he actually stole another man's wife and then had the guy murdered. Which is kind of a dick move from all perspectives. But this makes Asmodai the half-brother of the famous King Solomon, who had, according to the tales, power over all demons granted to him by God, and even used them to create the legendary Hebrew temple, with Asmodai as one of the main builders. The tales of King Solomon the Wise are steeped in demonology, and throughout his life, he encountered nigh on all the greater demons of the infernal planes. Asmodai is Solomon's rival throughout his adventures, and in a sense the king's shadow self. The Destroyer is forced to serve the king for some time because of his ring, which granted him dominance gifted to him by God over all demons, though eventually Asmodai tricks Solomon and takes his ring, then assumes his form to rule in his place. Asmodai banishes Solomon, sending him to wander about the wastelands, but eventually the king does return and defeats the demon, binding him in a bottle just like a genie, or jinn. However, Asmodai's main enemy is not King Solomon, but the Archangel Raphael, who actually has thwarted his plans in the past repeatedly. In the Book of Tobit, Asmodai lusts after a woman and forbids any man to ever have her in bed. 7 husbands in a row he kills during their wedding nights before the marriage could ever be consummated. Asmodai vowed that no man would ever take her virginity, and that only he would claim sexual relations with her, and any who tried would meet their death by the Demon King's hand. Then the hero Tobias comes into the picture as the 8th suitor, who secretly has the Archangel Raphael's support. Asmodai is defeated and flees to Egypt, where he is then bound by Raphael for some time, unable to leave. Yet Asmodai remains eager as ever to assert dominance over the mortal plane even to this day, and is a powerful presence in demonology.